Good morning, CrossRoads. Can you hear me okay? I'm Denise Hoeffner. I've been writing this testimony in my head and my heart for 2 years, and I just wanted to finally do it. So I wanted this testimony today is I'm going to tell you these several things. One is that God answers prayers. God comforts those who mourn. He uses music to comfort us. He can use our sisters and brothers in Christ to comfort us. And he can even use cell phones, social media, dreams, gifts, and nature to orchestrate some amazing things in order to reveal himself and to comfort us. So I'll start off with dates. This is kind of some interesting stuff, and it may not mean as much to you, but it's kind of cool. And then it leads into more deeper stuff, some deeper stuff about what God has been doing in our lives over probably the last almost 20 years. The first one, like I said, has to do with dates. Summer solstice comes once a year. It's the longest day of the year when we have the most sunlight. Summer solstice in the northern hemisphere is always either June 20th, 21st, or 22nd. On Saturday, June 21st, 1969, I'm going to tell my age, it's okay. It was summer solstice that year, and I was 4 years old, and my family moved from Puerto Rico to Kansas, Salina. That very night we moved here, there was an F3 tornado here in Salina. It was 100 yards wide and 2 miles long. Nobody was killed, but 60 people were injured. There were 104 homes and 7 businesses with major damage. Another 571 homes had minor damage. One of the homes lost its roof. The total damage came to $25 million. The reason that tornado is in my testimony at all is because that tornado is how I know the exact date that we moved to Kansas. I always knew it was June 1969, but I had researched it and found out that was when it was, June 21st. Fast forward 34 years to June 21st. It was Saturday, June 21st, 2003. That was the day that my father, Delroy Hill, passed away. Again in 2003, as in 1969, June 21st was summer solstice that year. Now fast forward another 16 years to June 21st, 2019. That was the day my mother, Marilyn Hill, passed away. This is exactly 16 years after my dad had passed away and exactly 50 years after she had moved into the house she was still in. Again, it was summer solstice that year. So I just knew when I had realized, I think I realized it in 2019, the year my mom was really sick, I realized the date that we had moved in, and that's what told me was going to be the day she was going to pass away. And I just feel like that was God preparing me to let go. My parents were Christians, so I wasn't worried about where they were going, but you know you're going to miss them. So now the next topic I want to talk about is music. Music is a big piece of my testimony. I'm not a musician. I am going to sing 4 words, and I hope it's not bad. So musicians, I apologize if it is, but it's okay. But anyway, most of the words I'm going to say I'll just read out loud. I won't sing them to you. But now that I've shared the coincidence of the dates of June 21st and the summer solstice, let me explain some of the ways God has used music to comfort us. Okay, so on June 22nd, Sunday, June 22nd, 2003, was the day after my dad died. I was at CrossRoads, and the CrossRoads band played 2 songs. They played more songs. The 2 songs I remember is We Will Dance and He Knows My Name. What better songs could have played that day than those 2? Sorry. The song We Will Dance includes the lyrics, "We will dance on the streets that are golden." That song comforted and encouraged me because I knew my dad was in heaven and he was on the golden streets. And he was filled with joy, so that comforted me. But the song He Knows My Name has so many meanings for me. In the lyrics it has, I have a maker, he formed my heart. Before even time began, my life was in his hands, which I know that's referring to God, but it also had a double meaning for me because my dad was past president of Salinans for Life. He was part of the Mission of Mercy in Wichita in I don't remember what year exactly that was, but he was marching around Dr. Tiller's clinic to try to end abortion. So those words meant double meanings for me, like I said. So the song also says, He knows my name, He knows my every thought. He sees each tear that falls, and He hears me when I call. I have a Father. He calls me his own. He'll never leave me no matter where I go. Which, again, that was double meaning for me. That's, my Heavenly Father and my earthly father. So I just felt like that song really meant more to me that day than it ever had before, and it always has since then, of course. So here's another song story. I had asked to have the song Legacy played at my dad's visitation. The song includes the lyrics, I want to leave a legacy. How will they remember me? Did I choose to love? Did I point to you enough to make a mark on things? I want to leave an offering, a child of mercy and grace who blessed your name unapologetically, and leave that kind of legacy. My dad was such a good Christian man. It's hard to get through this without just thinking of him. So, my dad knew that why God created us, and it was to have a relationship with him, and that is the meaning of life. He taught me from an early age that. So he knew what kind of legacy he wanted to leave. But after he passed away, for about 2 weeks, I'd say at least, after he passed away, every day on my way to work, if you know me, sometimes I run late, sometimes I run early, sometimes I run on time. And it didn't matter what time. I was heading out the door, and in that van, that song played. And I just felt God was giving me that song every day just to comfort me and remind me my dad had left a legacy, and it was okay. It was okay. I miss him, but he's where he's going to be for eternity, and he's happy. So, yeah. So now more about music. About a week before my mom passed away, I was compiling a list of songs that I wanted to play for her because she had broken her hip. She wasn't mobile at that point, and she was kind of stuck on the couch and watching game shows, and I wanted to help her. She couldn't go to church anymore, which was a terrible thing for her. So I wanted to play some songs for her on my PC, on my laptop. So I'd come up with 3 of the 4 songs, but I couldn't think of the 4th one. Some of you have probably read this on my post at the time, but you'll hear it again. So I knew there was one more song, and I couldn't think what was the other hymn that she loved so much. And I was in the drive-thru at McDonald's waiting to get a frozen Coke. And I was sitting there praying, God, help me think of that 4th song. I know I want to play another song for her. It's one of her favorites. What is it? And I was just kind of bored sitting there stuck in the line, and I pushed my radio button, and these are the words I heard come over the radio. How great thou art. And I was like, oh, that's it. That's the one. So God answered my prayer right then and there. And the thing that I thought was really amazing, besides the fact that it played that song and those actual words, was it was a contemporary Christian radio station I'd listened to for probably 15 years. I don't remember hearing hymns on it like that before. So God just really gave me that. Okay, but infomercial time, there's more. So I went to my mom's house to sit with her and play her those songs. And she was singing along with the hymns. And I thought, when my mom is in heaven, I'm going to miss hearing her voice. So I decided to record her, but I knew she wouldn't let me. So I did it without her knowledge. And I just happened to grab my phone and do it when she was singing Amazing Grace. It didn't matter to me which song she was singing to, and I just recorded it, a part of it. And anyway, so then she passed away a week after that. After she passed away, I knew that my younger brother and my twin sister would want to hear it as well. So I tried to send it to him via text message, the video clip. It was too big to go via text. And the reason that matters is because my twin sister didn't have Facebook on her phone. So I had to send it via Facebook Messenger because it was a bigger video clip. Okay? So the next morning, my sister was praying to God, crying out to God, how she really wished she could sing Amazing Grace with our mom one more time. And just was praying, and she knew she couldn't, not here, not until she's in heaven, but she was praying that. And then she went over to her laptop, opens up her laptop. Yeah, she turned it on, saw a message on Messenger, played it, and of course, it was the video from me of Mom singing Amazing Grace, so God answered her prayer right then. She got to sing it. It was really cool, but there's still more. So remember when God reminded me that my mom loved the song, How Great Thou Art. So on June 23rd, 2019, which was 2 days after my mom had passed away, what do you guys think was one of the songs that played here at CrossRoads? It was, I can't find the actual title, but the words in there are, How Great You Are. And I'm like, oh, man, God just keeps doing these things. It's just comforting and, I don't know, just to get you through, I guess. So when we were making the funeral arrangements, we found out that our mom had requested, I guess, How Great Thou Art to be played, and her second oldest son, Don, and his daughter, Marie, to play guitar and sing that song, if they, quote, if they wanted to. That's how she put it on her request. And so both of them live out of state. So I talked to my brother, Don, and asked if he thought he would be here in time to play the guitar and play How Great Thou Art at Mom's funeral, and would he talk to Marie and see if she could get here in time to sing it. And I didn't know if they'd have time to practice, etc. Okay, so yeah, Don thought they could do that, but he said whatever Marie picks, because she was the singer. So a few days later, I messaged my niece Marie and asked her, because the funeral home wanted to know what songs to put in the program. So I asked Marie, which song did you guys decide on? And if you haven't decided, can I request that it's How Great Thou Art? And she said, oh, Denise, I've known for literally months that I was going to sing How Great Thou Art at Grandma's funeral, which we didn't know for months that she was going to pass away. She had been really ill for 10 plus years. But it was on Marie's heart. So she did sing that at her funeral, which was really cool. But there's one more small song story. I was telling my grandson, Tyler, who is 17, I was telling him that I was going to do this testimony and kind of telling him a little bit about the songs. And he said, oh, yeah, he said, Grandma used to, it's his great-grandma, he'd say, when Grandma would pick me up from school, a lot of times the George Strait song, Check Yes or No, would come on and Grandma would sing to it. And he said that the day after she passed away, Tyler was in his mom's car with his mom, and she turned the radio on, and that song played, and it just really reminded him of his great-grandma. And I just feel like there's a lot of times those things happen, and God just speaks to you. So these are just some of the things I know about, like I said. Okay, now I'm going to go on to dreams. In addition to music, God has used dreams to comfort us and prepare us. After my dad passed away, I had a dream that my dad was holding me like a little child, and it was very comforting, and I just was in my daddy's lap. And then I realized, in your dreams, sometimes you realize this can't be right, and you go, wait, what? My dad's not here. He's in heaven. I can't be, whose lap am I on? Then I realized it was my heavenly daddy, and I was like, oh, gosh, he's been here all along. Just like he tells us in his word, he'll never leave us nor forsake us. And I woke up with such a peace that morning. I don't remember how much longer after he had passed away when I dreamed that, but it was just so cool, vivid. And about 3 months, here's something that some people told me about. About 3 months before my mom passed away, my husband Daryl told me he had a dream that my mom passed away. And he kind of told me about it. And then within less than 2 weeks, my daughter told me she'd had a dream that her grandma passed away, and told me about it. And then a day or two later than that, my oldest son told me he'd dreamed that his grandma passed away. And we didn't know, like I said, she'd been ill for a long time. There's no reason we should have thought she was necessarily dying right then. But they all told me about it. None of them had told each other. But I just feel like God was preparing all of us, because we didn't know the timing, but God did. So he was just preparing all of us in our hearts, I think, for her passing. Also, one second. God had given my husband Daryl a dream a couple days before his mom passed away. She'd had a big stroke a few weeks earlier, and the doctors told us she could just whisper. She couldn't really talk anymore, and she couldn't swallow. So they were feeding her through a tube, or I guess into her stomach. She was in the hospital. She was about to be transferred to a nursing home and from the hospital. And the doctor told us that she could live 20 years like this. They don't know how long she's going to be around. But Daryl had a dream that Jesus told him to anoint her head with oil. And so he did, and that was the night before she passed away. So, and I feel like when you have those dreams, you'll remember them. We don't remember all our dreams, but when they're important, pay attention. Nature. So here's another, besides dreams and music, God can use nature. In this case, we're going to talk about cardinals. But did you know that cardinals mate for life? So for those of us who have godly parents that got married and stayed married for life, and they're Christians, and this is a pretty cool story. So a couple weeks before my mom passed away, we started noticing out in her back patio, we'd see this one single cardinal kept flying around, and we'd never seen it before. It just kept flying around, and we think it was the same one all the time. But anyway, then my twin sister went home to Kansas City. Then our mom passed away, and the morning my brother called to tell Diane Mom had passed away, she went upstairs, told her husband and the kids that Grandma had passed away. She looked out her front window in Kansas City, and there were two cardinals sitting in the tree just staring at her. And it just they were staring at her, and she was like freaked out because she'd never really seen two cardinals just looking at the window, through the window at her like that. And she was like mesmerized, and she pointed so the rest of her family would look. She was like, and then they flew away together. And she said, now, we know that was not our parents. We know our parents aren't reincarnated. We don't think that. But we know that just to Diane, it was God reminding her they're together in heaven again. Just a reminder. It can be butterflies or cardinals or whatever it is, but when God tells you something, just listen. Brothers and sisters in Christ, I didn't want to forget to mention this part because it was important to me at the time. How we can help each other out, encourage each other, lift each other up. I was in a Bible study, and we're about to start it back up again. And when my mom passed away, and I'm not going to name their names because a lot of them are in here and they know who they are, but I don't want to miss anybody. But they got together, and they know we have a big family. My parents had 8 kids, 13 grandchildren, 22 great-grandchildren. So different states, different cities. So they figured they could use some, not just food. People bring food. They brought things that we needed, like toilet paper, paper towels, stamps to mail your thank you notes, a Walmart gift card, bottled water. That was really helpful because, man, we were doing stuff in the house and just chugging the water. So it was really special. It really meant a lot. The cards they sent, every text, every hug, anything meant so much to us, and I'll say especially me. It meant the world to me. So anytime you think, oh, I don't know what to say to this person who's whoever just passed away, child, parent, whatever, or I don't know what to say to this person that maybe they had a miscarriage, whatever it is, don't let Satan do that to you. Just say it. It doesn't matter what the words are because they'll hear your heart, and they'll appreciate it. So don't think you're going to say the wrong thing. Just say something. Don't keep it in. I'm old. I'm starting to learn stuff, finally. So I didn't always follow that advice. So then there were gifts. God can use inanimate objects like gifts to talk to us. My Aunt Iris used to always give a gift to every niece, nephew, great-niece, great-nephew when they were born. It could be a photo album or a pillow, a wall hanging, something that had the child's name, birth, weight, date, and all that. A day or two before she passed away, and none of us knew she was going to pass away, at least 3 of us that I know of had run across these gifts that she had given us, and then we got the call that she had passed away. So when we realized this, I said, hey, let's bring these with us to remind Uncle Merlin that we remember Aunt Iris and the things that she did. And so it was, but and a lot of us said, we hadn't seen these items. They'd been tucked away in a storage room or whatever. One of them was moving, and she had just packed it up. I was in my storage room, and whoa, look, there's that thing Aunt Iris made. And then a day or two later, she passed away. It was just things like that aren't coincidences. These are just things that I've noticed or been told about. I have no idea how many other miracles God has orchestrated along the way that I didn't notice, but the Bible tells us we're to share these stories with each other to lift each other up and glorify God. So that's what I hope this testimony was today. Psalm 105, 1-5 says, give praise to the Lord, proclaim his name, make known among the nations what he has done. Sing to him, sing praise to him, tell of his wonderful acts. Glory in his name, let the hearts of those who seek the Lord rejoice. Look to the Lord in his strength. Seek his face always. Remember the wonders he has done, his miracles, and the judgments he pronounced. Psalm 40, 1-10 says, I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see and fear the Lord and put their trust in him. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, who does not look to the proud, to those who turn aside to false gods. Many, Lord my God, are the wonders you have done, the things you planned for us. None can compare with you. Were I to speak and tell of your deeds, they would be too many to declare. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but my ears you have opened. Burnt offerings and sin offerings you did not require. Then I said, here I am, I have come, it is written about me in this scroll. I desire to do your will, my God. Your law is within my heart. I proclaim your saving acts in the great assembly. I do not seal my lips, Lord, as you know. I do not hide your righteousness in my heart. I speak of your faithfulness and your saving help. I do not conceal your love and your faithfulness from the great assembly. So in conclusion, I just want to say, God is there for you. He is talking to you, whether it's through your dreams, music, social media, cardinals in your yard, gifts or act of kindness from loved ones, your daily Bible readings, etc. I pray you all keep your eyes, ears, and hearts open so you don't miss the blessings and the miracles. And when you do recognize the miracles, I pray you follow Psalm 105:2 and tell of his wonderful acts. Thank you.